Hey everybody, welcome to G4G. I'm Napalm Dawn, and today we are in Marvel Duel. So we've got an event going on here, and that is the fireworks party to celebrate New Year's. So you'll have these quests, and these do go per day. And when you do them, you get fireworks. If you buy the upgraded pack, you get extras. So you'll see here from me today, it's the first time I've signed in for the video. Win a ladder, play a casual game, win a casual game. So, you know, these three aren't too bad. Winning a ladder might be dicey for some people, but playing a casual and winning a casual shouldn't be too bad. Now you gotta remember, in this game, a win doesn't mean first place. A win means anywhere in the top 3. Consuming 30 battle gems in a single turn in a casual game, this is really easy right now because there's a huge boost to the gems that you can play in casual. Emote once in a ladder game, raise a season pass by 1, open a pack. So that is, as you can imagine, that is somewhat relatively easy. And then I have 75. You can exchange them for gold, the ISO gems, random hero crystals, and even a random epic, or go for the chest. Now I haven't gone for the chest yet because I have wanted to save it for doing it on the video. So let me go ahead and hit a chest and see what I get. Spider-Man Hero Pack. Spider-Man Hero Pack. You know, 2 Hero Packs isn't too bad. There's a guaranteed bonus when you do 10 of them. And it could be this card back, it could be the frame, or it could be these 2 emotes over here. That that one's kind of cute with the snowman. The chest rewards are mentioned there, but I thought I saw there was a way of guaranteeing some of these. That may be in the store or here under events. No, okay. I was thinking of something else. So if we go to the shop, you can do some things over here. So for example, for 6 gems, you can get 6 fireworks and a hero pack voucher. It's not too bad. It for 6, that's not a bad price over there. I mean, even 6 for just the 1 hero pack voucher is pretty good, but getting some fireworks out of it's not too bad. We have Rapid Growth Electra, which is a Daredevil. 25 Electra packs and 1,200 Electra crystals. Not bad, but that is pretty expensive. To give you an idea, that's $288, and if we go to the store, that's roughly $50. That's kind of expensive. The deluxe firework pack is 188 fireworks and 18 vouchers, and at 118 that is pretty close to $20. That one isn't too bad because not only are you getting a solid 18 randos or the generic, if you were to come over here to events, you know, 188 is you know, you can get through towards that 9 pretty easily over here, or you can definitely get just a random epic. Might not be too bad for beginners that don't have a really good collection, but again, that one is a little chunky. So it looks like my dailies are daily login, refresh the shop 15 times in a battle, play a team up. Well, there goes one of my fireworks dailies, because that was a season pass thing right over there. So if I go back to events in New Year's Quest, should be, there it is. Another 4 of the fireworks. So, we have a pretty big update over here. I had done a video closer to when the update actually came out, but then I wasn't able to render it in time. I thought when I went out to the coast, I was going to remote the computer where the footage was and tell it to render, but my team viewer was being super weird. The computer that actually has my rendering software, I could only team viewer into it for about a minute and it was cutting off, but then everything else was fine. All my other computers were fine, so it was really strange. But we have a new set of cards that we're dealing with. We have the Avengers tag, which includes pretty much everybody that you would imagine. Wasp is a little bit, I mean, we know Wasp from the comics is, but if you look at this, it's pretty much Infinity War and Endgame almost to a T, except Wasp being in there. And that's, excuse me, yawning a little bit there. That's about the only strange outlier, but this is obviously a bit more comics than the movies. As you can see, it's the original, most direct Spider-Man and Black Widow. And we can see Winter Soldier over here that we'll talk about. So we have the S.H.I.E.L.D. faction now. S.H.I.E.L.D. agent has changed. He is now a guard. And when he comes into the battlefield, if there's another S.H.I.E.L.D. or Avengers character on the battlefield, give this card 3 power and 3 armor. I can't remember if that's permanent or just that round. I'd have to check. Mission report is remove a S.H.I.E.L.D. character from your battlefield. At the start of the next turn, add a copy of the remove card and a random Avengers character card with +1 cost in your hand. That's pretty cool. That one. There's Phil Coulson. He's a guard. Last words, give all your S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers character +3 power. S.H.I.E.L.D. medkit. On support characters, recover 10 damage to the most damage-friendly character. Trigger 4 times in each battle. Good to put on a support character a little bit down your turn order. Quake with Annihilate and critical hit. 10 at 4 is relatively solid. Quake's Seismic Bracers. Applicable characters, attack characters, +5 power. If you defeat somebody, you splash 8 damage to the adjacent characters. You're going to see in this update, there was English again in some of these descriptions. This one's fine. Deal 8 damage to characters adjacent to the target. That one is completely normal, but some of these were a little bad. Shield Rifle. Deal 6 damage to a random opponent. If you defeat that opponent, summon a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, trigger 3 times in each battle. When a character equips, blah blah blah. I forget where it was that I saw the English, but it was kind of bad on a few cards, like super bad. This is pretty good because dropping him, if you have S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers on the field, he'll get the bonus, which is pretty nice. And Howard the Duck would also bonus him too. Calling backup. Once per battle, when a friendly S.H.I.E.L.D. character is defeated, summon a random Avengers. I have a really, really funny interaction I need to show you guys with that. Nick Fury. So I have heard Nick Fury and Black Widow is super broken. So if we go to Avengers and we look at Black Widow, I wonder if it is a different 2 random intelligence. It might be the fear itself. Black Widow. No, I thought... Keyword Avengers. I think it's this... I don't think it's fear itself. I think it's the normal Black Widow. I've heard that combination is really broken. Let me see. At the start of a turn, move another shield or Avengers character with a cost 4 or lower to your hand and double their star value. 4 or lower. Double there's 4 or lower. But that's 5 and that's 6. I don't know. Maybe it's not an interaction between them. But I've heard that Nick Fury and Black Widow, I think it's the stock Black Widow, are just nutty crazy right now. And apparently it's very, very hard to beat. Your other support shield characters and support Avengers characters gain 1 action time and puncture. So it's a little bit like Ultron. And it doesn't really have synergy with Nick Fury because his isn't at a start of turn. And you're not going to get that duplicated. But it's good for others. And then you have Wrath Restraints. Give the nearest opponent stunned. When the turn is up, reduce the power of the opponent that got stunned by this equipment by 10 and give them stunned again. Trigger twice in each battle. Support has a lot of stuns in it. So Hydra is now its own faction. You don't have to root for them in neutral anymore. They also have some new ones, including Winter Soldier. Before taking an action, if there's more Avengers characters than Hydra characters on the battlefield, gain Speed Strike. Otherwise, attack Avengers characters on both battlefields first. He's Avengers and Hydra. So if you are not running any Avengers and you're supplying a lot of Hydras, you're good. If you do have an Avengers somewhere on there and your Hydras outweigh them, then it's a bit of a problem. We have Hydra Infiltration. Give a Hydra character last words. Change 2 opponents with the lowest power into Hydra Elite Soldiers and let them take their action immediately. That's good when you have something like Red Skull out there or Zola out there. And Hydra Motivation, change at most 3 non-Hydra cards in your shop into random Hydra cards that have the same cost and reduce their cost by 1. Pretty handy little recruitment there. It's what you might call in the Magic world a bit of a fetch card, except you're not searching through your deck so much as you're changing what's right there in the store. So of course, Black Widow we had dealt with way back. Now, Black Widow has been a lot of fun. I have 2 Black Widow decks, and I've done videos on them. I have my Intelligence deck, and I have my Cloaked and Agents deck. Believe it or not, it's very, very hard to maintain. You can't really do both of them at the same time. When you're looking at the 2s, like, you can pull it off. You can do Recluse, and you can do Iron Maiden. However, if you're not running a lot of intelligence or tactic cards, Iron Maiden suffers a little bit. And then you've got some good equipment that pairs pretty nicely with Recluse and Electroshock Batons. But now if you're looking at 3 and you're trying to combine intelligence and agents, Yelena and Damon go right there for agents and cloaked pretty easily. Natasha and Red Room Training go for the intelligence. How do you mix and match these to get both themes at the same time? it's really, really hard. And then you have Dodge Strike. Once per battle, when a friendly cloaked agent takes no more than 16 damage, block it. That's pretty solid, too. And again, at the 4, that's a cloaked agent. This one is a cloaked agent. And then this one is one of the few in the deck that sit on the border. Reveal an intelligence card, summon a copy of the corresponding character on the battlefield, and give them the agent keyword. Not cloaked, but if you have things that go off of agents, this is good, but it's also good for intelligence. And then that's intelligence at 4. Here at 5, she's cloaked agent. He's cloaked agent. She's intelligence. That's also intelligence. And Ronin's Wrath. Kind of both, but more for a cloaked agent one. So as you can see, you can't fit both themes at each juncture. Black Widow and Ronin are agent ones. That's pretty much an agent one because of the cloak status. This belt is intelligence. Deal 10 damage to all opponents that you have intelligence. I mean, it literally does nothing unless you're running intelligence. And then motorcycle escape kind of does both, but it's mostly for agents. So it's really hard to run both themes over there. So I have my Skildo deck and my intelligence deck. Skildo is pretty much been my ladder deck that I use almost exclusively at this point. Still can't seem to get beyond to Yelena's here, and she's kind of expensive. I don't know why. Well, orange border. Yeah, that might have something to do with it over there. Because if I look at Damon, he's way cheaper to do. But I call this Skildo deck because it's a Black Widow deck with skill damage characters in it. And that comes mostly from Captain Marvel. Early on, I can have Kamala sitting in there and getting buffed up from Carol tanking and a lot of the, like the Widow's Gauntlets, a lot of the support damage equipment helps that out in the early game. Later in the game, once I start getting to store 4 and especially 5, I switch things up a little bit and make sure the skill deck people are out, and then I go full agent. So I managed to hit 4 in my Red Guardian shield with which helps 4 in my Black Widows. Red Guardian is still only 1. Wouldn't mind getting him up there. Red Guardian and Damon with shields. That Red Guardian shield, they're just great. And it's such a fun deck. I absolutely love this deck. And I'm really surprised I don't run into more Black Widow themed people out there. I've run into one, and I think it was an intelligence one. My Thor really doesn't necessarily do a lot in here. I was kind of thinking of Throg buffing Miss Marvel a little bit, but even by the time I get up to Throg, I'm pretty well established in both skill and Black Widow. Hofund has kind of come in handy at times. Her Grandier I've maybe used once, and pretty much everything up above 4 over here is a cast off of my Thor deck. I don't think I have anything that really aids it anymore, other than potentially I could switch to Spider-Man to get the stun blasters in there. But, you know, there's a little bit of love in here for Kamala if I have a lot of skill damage. And then I sometimes will use Ronin to replace Minerva in the late game when a star level comes up. But I've never dropped Marvel with this deck. I've dropped Supreme Intelligence maybe once. Moonstone, I think I did a Moonstone once or twice on a Ronin. And then Captain Marvel has just never been summoned. But she does pop up. Over here, Aim Soldiers, one Aim Soldiers and a Ghost, Dueling Rivals, Urgent Shrink, a Quake Bracer. Still would love to see how this would go with somebody like Rocket, because if Rocket gets a kill, I'd like to see how the interaction goes. But obviously it is designed to be on Quake, but this is just throwing my attack characters a little bit of a love Resolute Assault, good way to get your health back up there. Rallying Cry helps the deck. Silver Sword's just a lot of good power if I'm not pulling the Scythe. And Escape the Void, and then the Wrath Restraints. Don't think I've managed to drop a Wrath Restraints yet at this point. My locked cards tends to augment my support team. So let me see if I can still find that hilarious Avengers interaction. It may have been this Hella one. It was one where I was a number 2. Don't think it was this. That is my intelligence deck. I can see that because of Dark Star. I think it's... Might be this one. From 2 days ago. I think it is. I think it's... I'm not too sure. It's been a little bit, but there was this really, really, really funny end round or two where the bewitching spell kept having a lot of crazy interaction. Let's see. 7 of 8, hit points 2. This might be it. No, this person's dead. So there's my Minerva with a Web Blaster that a Tony Stark card had given me. I don't run a Web Blaster, but I'm like, alright, if you're going to give it to me, I'll put it in my person who goes first. Here, big hit from Destroyer really weakens the Hela. And then all we need to do is 10 damage over here, then that thing goes away. Mjolnir on a Frost Beast. Kind of interesting. Haven't seen it before. Alright, so I'm thinking it's me versus Rain Man where this happens. Yeah, there's a bewitching spell. And alright, so there's the Nick Fury. And he is running the Goblin Glider, which means everybody's going to get stunned. She's running the Pumpkin Bombs, which is deal 10 damage to your random opponent. If they're stunned, double it. Trigger 6 times. That's pretty ouchy. And see, there's Black Widow, and she's up at 128. Where did she get that all from? Oh, I get it now. The doubling of the stars. Okay. I see what's happening now. Because she's an Avenger, if she's the only one... yeah, that's probably it. You drop Nick Fury and then only Black Widow as an Avenger, and then she keeps getting pulled out. Very interesting. See, now here's a cool thing. I see how this works now. If she's supporting other agents, her passive gets so jacked up from being 8 stars that when another agent goes to take their action, they're going to steal 80 power and 80 armor. That is an agent right there with splash damage, and that's also an agent. So every one of these is going to steal 80 before the... Alright, I see now. So there goes Nick stunning everybody, but they're attacking my Sandman, which in turn stuns them. So I kind of limit their output a little bit over here, but it's not going to be enough. There's a Hell Crown on the Destroyer over there, but it doesn't do them any good. See, Bewitching Spell stole it, calling back up, and then I stole it, and then another calling back up. We were just trading cards. I mean, it was like passing your cards in Uno for a little bit. See, and it happened again. The Bewitching Spell and the trading places is really funny, but now their passives are really kicking in, and they're just getting too well protected by Nick Fury and the Black Widow. Wow. Now I see the ugly combo that they were talking about, but my team held their own there for a little bit. I think if I was the other person, I might have been like, man, my plan is kind of getting delayed here a little bit. It still played out in his favor, or their favor, but I think for a little bit over there, it was kind of thwarting the general plan of things. So there has been some nerfs that happened with that update. Tony Stark has changed a little bit. Crimson Dynamo was buffed back to back. Warped a little bit. Asgardian Glory. This is one of the bigger nerfs. Used to be add 2 Asgardian cards with a cost 5 or lower from the card pool to your hand. Now it's give all your Asgardians power and armor, which is stupid. It's basically an upgraded feast, except it's an AoE feast is what it is. Feast used to give a random Asgardian character 1 power and 6 armor 3 times, so 3 and 18. Now it's give a random Asgardian 2 power and 4 armor, trigger twice, so for slightly more power but considerably less armor. Tyr's power went up, which is, I felt he needed that. Red Skull had some changes, now giving them cloaked. Used to be Hydra Bomb, deal 20 damage to the Hydra soldiers and their adjacent targets. That was really strong. Now it's deal 10 damage to a non-Hydra character on the battlefield and stun them. Trigger N more times, where N is equal to the number of Hydra characters on the battlefield. So it's pro-Hydra and anti-Hydra at the same time. It's been nerfed, but it had to take the nerf for the multiple triggers, otherwise it would have been absolutely crazy. There's web shooters. Used to be deal 1 damage to 2 opponents, stun them, trigger 2 times. Now it's reduced the power of 2 opponents by 1, give them stunned. You may think that sounds about the same. It isn't. It leeches the power out from under armor. This only would have just stunned heavily armored characters and really not done a whole lot. But now when you reduce the power, it's in a way a bit of a puncture. So that's what we got for the New Year's update, and the update that happened slightly before New Year's, around Christmas. Unfortunately, just didn't get to do the video when I had wanted to do it, so I decided to re-record it. And now I've had a little bit more cook time with the cards and everything. So I'm just going to take my intelligence deck for a casual. Hope to get a top 3 so I can do the play casual, win a casual, all in one fell swoop. And I'm going to sign off for now. So thanks for checking out the video. Hope you get a chance to play Marvel Duel. It is one that I'm relatively addicted to. Like, I really feel I need to do at least a match per day, at the very least. And then there's times where I'm not getting pounded and not losing poorly, and when I'm doing neutral or on a winning streak, I'm like, I just kind of want to keep playing, but we got a couple black golds over here, so this might get a little bit dicey. But anyway, thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good, safe, happy holidays, and I will be seeing you in the near future. Peace out, everybody.